Good evening to all my wonderful viewers out there, and welcome back to another Streetwear Talk video, the series where I cover the latest streetwear releases, I cover the latest streetwear news, and of course, I just discuss anything to do with streetwear or fashion in the series. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing some pretty big news that dropped around about halfway through July of this year. And the news that I'm going to be covering is that Supreme has been sold again. Now, some of you might be confused, so I'm going to try and fill you in. So, Supreme, originally started by James Jebbia back in 1994, he has owned the majority ownership of Supreme for over 20 years. And then in 2020, I want to say, he sold a large part of the ownership of Supreme to VF Corporation, the huge American corporation which owns so many other clothing brands. They own Timberlands, Vans, the North Face, I think. They own like a huge amount of the brands that Supreme collaborates with already. So VF Corp bought the large stake in Supreme's ownership back in 2020 for 2.1 billion US dollars. You know, a little bit of cash. And then now in 2024, they're selling it. They're selling their stake in Supreme again, therefore selling a large part of the ownership of the brand to another public company, another big company. This one is not American. It is, I think, Italian or French off the top of my head. And I hate pronouncing the name of it because I suck at pronouncing the name of it. But it is Essilor Luxottica. They are the brand that owns some of the most iconic, some of the biggest eyewear in, I guess, the whole fashion scene. So I'm talking Oakley, I'm talking Ray-Ban, I'm talking a large, I guess, ownership of all the distributors of sunglasses and glasses. So think of like your Sunglass Shack and all that kind of stuff. So they own brands inside of that, but also the major distribution channels to actually sell sunglasses and whatnot. So they have a large majority of that market share, and they have bought Supreme from VF Corporation for 1.5 billion. Now, if you're looking at the maths, that means that in 2020 they bought it for 2.1. Now in 2020 they're selling it, 2024 they're selling it for 1.5. Some have instantly attributed that to a loss. I wouldn't necessarily speculate that without seeing the finance sheets, because realistically, like, they could have bought it for 2.1 in 2020, made heaps of billions of dollars of profit in the 4 years, and then sold it for 1.5. And even though the sale price is less than what they bought it for, the revenue that they brought in those 4 years could have been astronomical. We don't know. VF Corporation could have come out on top. I think you'd have to be an investor and go check out their finance sheets and see if that's the case or not, if that's even publicly disclosed. But some people are seeing this as, you know, like a sign of where Supreme is going, because, you know, it was bought for a large amount, now it's selling for even less. It's on this downward slope. Supreme is dead. It's going to go to zero. It's done for. And I mean, maybe, but I don't think it's going to be that dramatic where we're just going to see like this really quickly. Or maybe we are, I don't know. But it's interesting to see where we're going to kind of go with this sale of, I guess, a large part of the ownership of Supreme. Are we now going to see a lot more glasses in their seasons? Are we going to see them collaborating with a lot of brands that I guess, a European brand is in touch with, like Ralph Lauren and Burberry and Prada, etc., etc.? Are we going to see more collaborations down that kind of way? Who knows where the direction is going to go for this? But one thing I can say for certain is that if a public company is buying something like this, they're buying into it with the expectation that they're going to be making a lot of money. So I can imagine that we're going to see either a lot more collaborations or a lot more other ways to expand Supreme as it is. So Supreme has already expanded to like Shanghai and a lot of the Asian market, because that is where, from what I'm reading, a lot of where streetwear is still doing really well. Will we see it expand further? Only time will tell, realistically, but it'll be interesting to see where the brand kind of goes in the next couple of years now that it's been sold again, and if it's just going to become more washed out, more corporate, more just of a everyday brand that we see, or is it going to return to form? I just have a hard time believing it's going to be the latter, because once you go public, it's very hard to get that same feeling, that same authenticity that the brand once had. But we'll see. You know, I have hopes. I don't want to be super pessimistic. A lot of people like to be, but I like to see where it's going to go. As long as the quality doesn't dip heaps, as long as the designs are good, the seasons are interesting, I'm here for it. But yeah, it could be interesting. Again, on the dramatic side, we could see the end of Supreme. On the other side, we could see the uprising of Supreme coming back and taking over Asia, because it's just, you know, it gets pumped throughout there. Realistically, I don't know where we're going to go. I'd love to see where it's going to go, but it's interesting news just to cover off that in 4 years, they've already sold the brand again for, on paper, I guess, a loss, because, you know, 2.1 billion versus 1.5, but I reckon the revenue that they pulled in over these past 4 years is massive. And yeah, I reckon they probably covered a lot of what we perceive as to be losses. I reckon they're ahead. But again, what do I know? Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the sale of the brand once again. I mean, maybe you've completely ditched the brand because it's just, it's not what it used to be. You've lost faith in it and you're not interested anymore. That's an interesting conversation to have in itself, and I'd love to talk to you about it in the comments section below. But just any thoughts that you have at all would be really good. I mean, I am kind of, I guess, on the fence. I don't have strong opinions either way. I just want to see where the brand goes from here. I don't really care that it's been sold off again. As long as they do cool things with it moving forward, that's what I'm happy with. But I'll keep my eyes and ears out, cover the latest seasons for you guys when they come out, and we'll kind of take it from there. But I don't know when the first official season is going to be from the brand now that it's been sold again. Like, I don't know if it's going to be the next season that releases, or if it's going to be the season after that it's the you know, the VF Corp season's end. We'll just have to kind of see, but it'll be interesting. Again, now that we know all that information, that it has been sold again and everything like that, let me know how you feel about it down in that comment section below. I think that's realistically all I have to really say about it. I just wanted to give you the news that it has been sold again. VF Corporation looks to be no longer dealing with the brand moving forward. Maybe this will be the death of Supreme. Maybe this will be the revival of Supreme. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm kind of just sitting back, waiting to see what happens. You know, I'm not super keen to find out what the next collection is. I'm kind of just like, okay, where do we go from here? Because, I mean, I'm tapped in, but I'm not that tapped in. I definitely agree with the overall sentiment that Supreme was better like 10 years ago, even 20 years ago. But, you know, you take what you get. You take a piece here, a piece there. You don't necessarily have to enjoy the whole season. I don't kind of see Supreme in the same way that I see a lot of big fashion houses and their collections and stuff. As long as you enjoy a couple pieces, have a good time with it, I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, anyway, would love to hear your thoughts on it. Do you still buy Supreme in 2024? You just completely lost faith in the brand now that it's been sold again? Let me know. Do you pick it up or not? In that comment section below. And of course, if you guys want me to keep covering upcoming streetwear news, upcoming streetwear releases, you got to give me the 3 indicators I always ask you for, which is a like on this video, a comment in that comment section down below. And if you haven't already, the best indicator you can give me is subscribe to the channel. As mentioned in previous uploads, we're trying to hit the subscriber milestone of 3,875 subscribers before the end of August. We're less than 5 subscribers away, guys, so hopefully with your continuous support, we'll be able to reach that milestone before the end of the month. That's everything I have to say about this, guys. Keen to cover the next collection from Supreme with you and see where the direction of the brand goes. But until then, until the next Supreme video, until the next Streetwear Talk video, until the next drop list video in general, I'll catch you later.